Hi, my name's Jeff, and I'm here at Gulani Vision Institute with Dr. Gulani, who's taken time out of his very busy Fly Home Friday to talk to me a little bit about his processes and techniques and how he restores people's vision. So um, I came to see Dr. Gulani about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and here I am a year later with no glasses anymore, with 20/20 vision, and I'm able to read. I'm able to do everything I could do until I was about 40, 45 years old, when I had a botched Lasik that left me struggling for a decade to see, and then I developed cataracts, and the combination of that, nobody would deal with it. I went to see a surgeon in Tallahassee, and they wouldn't even consider giving me interocular lens replacement. They wouldn't ever consider a toric lens because they said my botched surgery left me screwed, and that if I had not had LASIK and I had virgin eyes, they could have done something. So I concluded that most surgeons expect to start with a perfect eye and work with that, and they're not willing to work with someone who has LASIK scarring, who has astigmatism. And so I came to see Dr. Gulani, and I guess I could start by saying that when I first met you, I was a little overwhelmed because I'm as you say, a type A
All my
person.
patients are.
And so are you, and so we clashed a little bit, and I was obsessed with the idea that you could just replace a lens and everything would be fine, and maybe you can explain a little bit about how you treat the eye in totality and the relationship, obviously the lens, the cornea, and how you look at a systematic approach as opposed to just cut and dry, A and B.
Certainly, yeah. And always a pleasure to be with you. All my patients, doesn't matter how busy I am, I'd love to sit down and answer questions for benefiting everybody. So, you being an amazing engineer yourself, we'll talk in that language. Your eye, our eyes are basically it's a camera. The CPU is the brain that sees, right? The computer. My entire approach is holistic, vision corrective. How to do all these techniques from the front cornea to the lens and back, or stage or combine, or reverse in patients with complications to make the brain see in focus. So once you think that way, everything gets simplified. So when you presented to me, like many LASIK patients do, you had LASIK surgery done elsewhere, but the flap was short, there was scarring, there was irregular astigmatism, which is difficult to measure astigmatism, therefore your doctor wasn't confident to put the other lens. But besides that, you also had a lens that was getting cloudy, even though it wasn't a bad cataract. So all these are elements. So you were farsighted, you couldn't read, your night vision was down, you had irregular astigmatism, scarring, and a cataract, right? Let's call it a cataract for our discussion. My approach is, because I designed surgery, is I can't leave any of these culprits untreated.
Right.
And therefore my approach is never, I do LASIK or this or that. No, I do all the 40 techniques and how I design using what I want in cases like you. So for your case, Jeff, I decided to first go inside your eye and do the lensoplastic-based surgery to work on your early cataract. Then we had a discussion about lens implants, right? You had brought on a list and you wanted to go over all these lens options that are there that people advertise. Nothing wrong with that, but guys, remember, you should not just fall for some menu card talking about some premium technology, and you have to ask questions. Why this lens? Because lens is an ingredient, important ingredient. But the vision recipe is very important. You can't just put a recently FDA approved brand new coffee bean in curry. It won't taste great. So you don't blame the coffee bean now, it was just the wrong recipe, right?
Right.
So with you, I started first with lensoplasty, one eye. We went inside your eye, did a lensoplastic based cataract surgery with a high toric lens implant. Came out with excellent vision, waited, did your second eye again lensoplasty. And then laserplasty to fix the irregular cornea itself of the LASIK area and erase the optical impact of that LASIK flap. You still have the LASIK flap, but that's the whole beauty. Without doing a transplant or damaging the cornea, I have made the optics of your camera completely match what the computer, the brain wants. And another question you had for me, Doc, how come you did not use a multifocal or a trifocal or a bifocal lens or a light adjustable lens? Because I don't need to. In a case like yours, my confidence is so high that having corrected LASIK complication now for decades, I put in a high toric lens, which is a high astigmatism lens, which is actually monofocal.
Mm-hmm.
But I arrange it on an axis, corneoplastic base, so it cancels the anatomical abnormality of your eye optically.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, when you said you just went to some doctor where they did your eye test back home, they found your vision to be
20/20.
distance and near,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's the beauty, doctors, of how to correct, and patients, that you can be corrected. So even though all lens implants are very good, I use most of these technologies, especially with my international privileges. I have even access to more technologies that are available here. But you have to use the lens as an ingredient in your vision recipe plan and fix it with least intervention, safety, and with a long-term goal. Now, had I just done laser plastic to fix your LASIK, meaning worked on your LASIK flap, I would still leave a culprit in your eye, which is your early cataract.
Yes.
So in a couple years, he would have needed cataract surgery. He would again be in a dilemma because the lens calculation would be even more off. So you have to have that knowledge and foresight to look into the future and correct that. And if you remember, we had a huge discussion also about your dominance, ocular dominance. And you had been designated as dominant left eye from your LASIK surgery, which you had had. And I proved it to you that you were actually dominant right eye.
Yes.
And being a type A, you had used your wrong dominance for so long and gotten used to it, still doing your important work as an engineer.
Right.
And now that we fixed it, how does it feel?
Wonderful. And it's I'm right eye dominant, but I don't even realize that anything's changed.
Absolutely. So it's all about manipulating the optics to fool the brain, to see through these broken or abnormal or irregular LASIK complication corneas and do it long term with safety. So that's what gives the vision that I've been getting for patients. I mean, today when you came, as you know, traditionally here we have Flyback Fridays.
That's why I came today.
You met all these patients from all over the world again, day one post-op. But just that's really my pattern. Whether you had LASIK, whether you had real keratotomy, whether you even had bad cataract surgery. I also see a lot of patients who come with cataract surgery after LASIK, where doctors may have attempted to correct it. And then they go with these lenses, and then the patients are miserable because now they're seeing halos, double vision, streaking of vision. And they can also be corrected because I can now do laser plastic to oppose the optics of that lens without changing the lens. So whether you've had LASIK complication, bad cataract surgery after LASIK, poor outcomes of your surgery of either of these, you can all be helped. And systematically, like you said, as an engineer, with the correct GPS in the right direction, can't do the wrong and then go this way, and with long-term safety.
Absolutely.
And then the two also, remember, you had dry eyes.
Yes.
So we fixed that with moist therapy. So that's also important. Many LASIK patients also have dryness going on. You can also fix that to induce stability. There's a moist therapy that I do. So again, there has to be a holistic approach of all these techniques, diagnostics, technologies, applications. And then, like an engineer, you plan the vision endpoint, despite you being a human who will heal variably. Did I give you a lecture?
No, it was wonderful. It was great. It's fine.